We're live here at Kansas City Developer Conference, KCDC 2014, with Matt Twyman from Adaptive Solutions.
Yes.
Matt, thank you for sitting down with us.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, no problem. Our pleasure. So, thank you for, Adaptive Solutions for sponsoring, helping sponsor KCDC. It's without sponsors, it's tough to have conferences like this, go on. So tell us a little bit about Adaptive Solutions and what it is you guys do.
Sure. So we are an IT recruiting company, IT staffing. We've been around since 2002 and are actually headquartered in St. Louis, and that's where we opened our operations.
Nice.
I personally have done recruiting since '94 in the tech space,
Wow.
and I am from the Kansas City area. So 2009, I opened a branch here. So we've
Okay.
been in Kansas City since 2009 and St. Louis since 2002.
Good.
So what platforms do you recruit for, IT-wise? What specialties?
I would say really the whole spectrum, but we're heavy on application development. We tend to do a lot with anything application development based, be it .NET, Java, open source, database backend as well as infrastructure. But an event like KCDC is so huge for us to come down here and meet such a good volume of people. And what we found is there are absolutely a high volume of developers here, but there are also other skill sets, be it quality assurance, project management, people that want to get into agile.
Right.
And
Definitely.
So would you say that, like, right now in this day and age, that there's more companies looking to hire? There's a shortage of developers.
there is not a shortage of developers, but there is a shortage of developers waving the banner that's saying, I'm looking for a job,
Okay.
if that makes sense. And there's probably a shortage as well. But
Right.
from our perspective, the challenge, and I think from an employer's perspective, the challenge is trying to find that available talent
Right.
and trying to broadcast that message to the right audience. And that's where we can come in and really get a chance to intimately know our customer and then a job seeker, even if that job seeker is a little passive,
Right.
and then try to.
So developers out there, you need to be, letting people know, hey, I'm looking for work, and contact some of these companies, and they can, like Adaptive Solutions, they can help you land a position and pair you up really good.
Very much.
So is there any experience or information that you'd like to give out to some of our viewers maybe that are a little more introverted and maybe don't interview quite as well? Is there anything that you can think of that they could work on before going out for that job search?
Well, I think what it is a lot of times is just representing yourself as far as where you've actually applied those tools. A lot of times on a resume we'll see a list of buzzwords, but you don't necessarily see that integrated into the body of the resume itself, so that an employer could look at that and say, I know you personally were responsible for this task. But a lot of times with developers, it's having a portfolio, it's having a URL, it's branding yourself, it's having some social media, it's having an enhanced LinkedIn profile. And I think so much of the social media now is helpful for people just branding.
Right. So you would definitely say people focus on your LinkedIn account.
I would. We use LinkedIn all the time. It's become really a critical tool.
Right.
And less on Monster or Dice or Career Builder or some of the traditional job boards that we've tended to, we still use, but not as heavily.
Not post as much on. Good. So now, is this the first time Adaptive Solutions has helped sponsor KCDC or
Second
second?
time. And I know in St. Louis we've done the .NET Days of St.
Yeah.
Louis, and I understand that's a similar event.
Yes, very similar.
But for KCDC, yes, this is our second, but we've actually upped the ante this year. So we came down for the Thursday compiler session this year, which we were excited about. I think Thursday was a great day. It's less traffic, but you get a lot of volume at your booth.
Right.
And there's less vendors on
Right.
Thursday, so
It's
that was
good to get
nice.
set up and spend some more time talking with people.
It is, and we get a talk this year, so I'm actually speaking as a keynote speaker on Saturday at 2:10,
Awesome.
if anybody
Oh,
wants to
perfect.
come.
All right. What are you speaking on specifically?
It is a topic of how to align yourself with a good recruiter.
Okay.
There are a lot of companies out there that do what we do, and there's no secret about that. But I think one of the advantages that we bring to the table is relationship building and really understanding. I had one of our consultants today stopped at the booth, and he just said, hey, you guys do things differently, and it's refreshing. It's not a high-pressure sell. You guys actually go out there and learn about people, what's important to the people, and connect them with those opportunities. So I'm trying to demonstrate the importance of recruiting and aligning with somebody you're comfortable with. And so hopefully we'll have some attendees to that.
Right. Well, good.
Awesome.
I definitely hope so. So, how can they find more about Adaptive Solutions and get connected if if they're interested?
Well, so adaptivesg.com, SG like Solutions Group, and that's our website.
Okay.
But we also have a Facebook page. They can follow us on Twitter, and stop by one of our offices in either the St. Louis or Kansas City markets. We're always looking to meet good people, well in advance of even having a job for them. So it's all about relationship building.
Yeah. One of the things I was going to throw out too is a conference like this, or St. Louis Days of .NET, and any of the other ones out there. It's great for developers to come out to these things because not only do you get some really good knowledge from the speakers, but you also get really good networking across the attendees and the vendors. So, and I know you guys benefit from that, and so I think most of the people here do too.
It's so nice.
Having you here.
And I think every year this specific event has continued to grow. I think last year there was around 900 attendees, a little over 1,100 this year, and I've seen the row of vendors just multiply.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of our
Getting
clients are down
longer
here.
and longer.
Yeah, and it's not just staffing and recruiting companies, which was a little heavy last year. Now there's a lot of employers down here.
Yes.
They're good Kansas City employers, and they're looking to reach out and talk to people, and there's important people at these booths,
Yeah.
not just in HR, but the true technical staff themselves.
Yes,
And
yes.
a lot of them are speaking on really relevant topics.
Which is even better, right? Because that will
Credibility.
credibility and networking. Because
sure.
the more people you know, you never know where your next job is going to come, and you don't know how long your current one is going to last. In this economy and everything, we just don't know, right?
Exactly.
And you always have to have that next step pre-planned, even though you're not looking. I think.
You do, and then I think the shelf life in IT is shorter because people want to get challenged onto the next tool or the next technology, and so once their job might go into maintenance mode, they get itchy and they want to move on, and so
Exactly.
to have that networking capability, and I've found, growing up in Kansas City but living in St. Louis 6 years, very similar markets, very tight-knit, small IT communities.
I've got one last question for
Sure.
you. How long would you say you would want to see resumes last if they weren't just a consummate contractor, of course, but if you were placing a full-time, would you say 1.5 to 2 years would be about the normal turnover rate for IT, or what are you seeing?
I think a 2 to 3 year window is not uncommon. And I think still today employers want to see longevity.
Oh, of course.
A lot of times.
That's why I asked the question.
They don't want to see 6 months and we're bouncing and bouncing. But at the same time, I will say, and I found this to be true over the last couple of years, employers that look at somebody that has been in different environments as opposed to somebody that might have worked for Sprint for 20 years, they like that exposure to different platforms, to different sizes and scales. So there is a sense of if somebody comes from a few different environments, there's power in that.
Yeah, well, there's
As long as you're not
definitely-
jumping every couple of months, right?
Exactly. That's kind of where I was coming from because I
Exactly.
want people to understand what their resume actually means when they go out for a job search, right?
Yep.
Because that is one of them.
Very much.
Well, Matt, thank you for sitting down with us.
This is great.
Yeah,
Thanks for the
thanks for
time. It's
coming.
good
Thanks
to,
for
good to
coming.
sit down
You
with
did
you
a lot of
guys.
traffic at your booth, and again, thank you,
I
Matt
appreciate
from
it.
Adaptive Solutions. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks again.